Captain Marcus Webb stood on the bridge of the UE's horizon, watching the alien fleet approach through the viewscreen. 3 months of diplomatic negotiations had led to this moment, the first formal meeting between humanity and the Valani Empire. The sleek, crystalline ships moved with an elegance that made human vessels look like crude chunks of metal in comparison. "They're requesting permission to dock," reported Lieutenant Jones from her console. "Granted," Marcus replied, straightening his dress uniform. "All hands, prepare for diplomatic reception." The Valani delegation would be led by Princess Lyra, heir to the throne of a civilization that spanned 12 star systems. Intelligence reports described her as brilliant, calculating, and utterly devoted to her people's interests. Marcus had spent weeks studying their culture, learning their customs, memorizing the proper protocols for addressing royalty. An hour later, he stood in the docking bay as the airlock cycled open. The first Valani to emerge were guards, tall and graceful beings with blue-tinted skin and luminescent markings along their arms. They moved with fluid precision, scanning the area with weapons that seemed to bend light itself. Then she appeared. Princess Lyra was striking even by Valani standards. Her skin held a deeper blue hue than her guards, and her markings pulsed with soft silver light. She wore robes that seemed to shift color as she moved, and her eyes held an intelligence that immediately commanded respect. She was beautiful, alien, and completely intimidating. Marcus stepped forward, offering the formal bow he had practiced countless times. "Your Highness, welcome aboard the UE's Horizon. I am Captain Marcus Webb, representing the United Earth Alliance." Lyra inclined her head slightly, her expression carefully neutral. "Captain Webb, I thank you for this meeting. I am Princess Lyra of the Valani Empire." The next several hours passed in a blur of formal presentations, technical discussions, and carefully worded diplomatic exchanges. They toured the ship, discussed trade possibilities, and reviewed territorial boundaries. Throughout it all, Lyra maintained perfect composure, asking sharp questions and making astute observations about human technology and culture. Marcus found himself increasingly impressed by her intelligence and grace. Despite the formal nature of their interactions, he caught glimpses of something warmer beneath her diplomatic mask. A slight smile when he explained human humor. A look of genuine curiosity when discussing Earth's diverse ecosystems. A moment of what seemed like approval when he demonstrated human adaptability. As the day wore on, the formal atmosphere began to relax slightly. During a break in negotiations, Marcus found himself alone with Lyra on the observation deck, watching the stars through the massive transparent aluminum windows. "Your people are fascinating," Lyra said, her voice softer than it had been during the formal sessions. "So diverse, so adaptable." The reports we received did not capture the full complexity of human nature. "What did the reports say?" Marcus asked, genuinely curious. "That humans were aggressive, unpredictable, dangerous." She paused, studying his reflection in the window. "They were not entirely wrong, but they were incomplete. You are also creative, compassionate, and surprisingly resilient." "Surprisingly?" "Your species achieved spaceflight despite having no natural advantages. No enhanced strength, no telepathic abilities, no extended lifespans. You succeeded through determination and ingenuity. Alone. It is remarkable." Marcus felt a warmth at her words. "What about your people? What should humans understand about the Valani?" "We value harmony, tradition, and the collective good above individual desires. Some might find us rigid, but there is strength and unity of purpose." She turned to face him directly. "Though, I confess, interacting with humans has made me question some of our assumptions about the importance of strict formality." They talked for another hour, the conversation flowing more naturally than Marcus had expected. Lyra's diplomatic mask slipped away entirely, revealing someone who was curious, thoughtful, and surprisingly playful. When she laughed at one of his stories about human military mishaps, the sound was like silver bells. The formal dinner that evening went smoothly, with both delegations making positive statements about future cooperation. As the meal concluded, Marcus walked Lyra back toward the docking bay, their guards and advisors trailing at a respectful distance. "Captain Webb," Lyra said as they paused outside the airlock, "this has been a most productive day. I believe our peoples can build a strong alliance." "I agree completely, Your Highness. The Valani Empire would be a valuable partner for humanity." They stood there for a moment, the formal words hanging between them. Marcus realized he didn't want her to leave. Over the course of the day, he had come to genuinely like and respect this alien princess. More than that, he found himself attracted to her intelligence, her grace, and the glimpses of warmth she had shown him. Without thinking, he smiled and said, "Hey, sweetie." The words slipped out before he could stop them, a casual endearment he might use with a close friend or romantic partner. The moment they left his mouth, Marcus felt his blood turn to ice. He had just addressed an alien princess with a human colloquialism that could be interpreted as deeply disrespectful or inappropriately intimate. Lyra's eyes widened, and her blue skin flushed a deeper shade that was unmistakably the Valani equivalent of blushing. For a heartbeat, Marcus was certain he had just destroyed any chance of an alliance between their species. Then Lyra's lips curved into a smile, and she replied, "Yes, darling?" The formal atmosphere shattered completely. Both of them looked at each other in surprise, then burst into laughter. The sound echoed through the corridor, causing their respective entourages to exchange confused glances. "I cannot believe I just said that," Marcus gasped between laughs. "Nor can I believe I responded," Lyra replied, wiping tears from her eyes. "My diplomatic training certainly never covered this scenario. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. That was completely inappropriate. Please, call me Lyra." She was still smiling, "and do not apologize." It was refreshing to drop the formalities, even if only for a moment. They looked at each other, both still grinning. The moment of shared humor had created an unexpected connection, a bridge between their vastly different cultures. "Perhaps," Lyra said thoughtfully, "this is exactly what our alliance needs. Not just formal treaties and trade agreements, but genuine understanding between individuals." "I think you might be right," Marcus replied. "Though maybe we should work up to casual endearments gradually in future diplomatic meetings." "Agreed," Lyra laughed. "Though I admit I rather liked being called sweetie." As she boarded her ship, Marcus realized that what had started as a potential diplomatic disaster had actually strengthened the bond between their peoples. Sometimes the most important connections were made not through careful protocol, but through moments of genuine human emotion. The alliance between Earth and the Valani Empire would indeed prove to be one of the strongest in galactic history. And it all began with two words that should never have been spoken, and a response that changed everything.